Hi. All right, it's day two. It's about lunchtime, and yeah, it's been interesting. I've done some good work this morning, wrote a blog, did a bit of work for a client, did some meditation, and now I'm looking out the window and it's really windy and there's plenty of waves. So I am going windsurfing. Now, it feels good having earned this sort of right, I suppose, to go windsurfing. Sort of feel like I've done the work. There's this presbyterian thing going on. I've done some work, I've produced something, and now I'm going to go and play. And I wonder whether that's needs to be that way. That's what's coming up for me as I reflect on this now. Could I go play without any guilt because I haven't done any work? Yeah, that's something I'm going to hold as a question. So let's see what happens. Well, I am at the spot I wanted to come windsurfing at, and there's heaps of rain, which has killed the wind, and there's no locals out. So I'm like, maybe that's telling me something, that I'm not destined to get on the water windsurfing at this spot, at least for now. So I'm not feeling too stressed because I've got a whole lot of time, right? Which is good. So I'm breathing out. And it's interesting just talking to one of the locals who had just left. He was just leaving as I arrived. He says, oh yeah, I'm retired now. And so I've got a lot of time, so I can pick and choose when I come. I thought, yeah, well, that's unhurried. Maybe not productive. It depends on how you define productivity, I guess. But I do feel a little bit the same. It's like, well, I'm not in any great rush. So perhaps in a busy life, I'd be like, I've only got these 2 hours, I've got to get out there. Right now, I'm a bit more like, oh well, cool, something else to do instead. And as I speak, it looks like it's clearing up a bit. And who knows, maybe I can get on the water. But one way or the other, I'm pretty chilled. Catch up with you a bit later on. See ya. So I mentioned earlier on that I'd done some work this morning and then I was going to play this afternoon. The conditions end up being completely rubbish for getting on the water. It's just so turbulent and messy and crazy, and none of the locals are out. And I thought, you know what, I actually think I'm smarter just making this a rest day. And so a bit disappointing, but also okay with it because I know I've got heaps of time. So that was one insight, that, you know, if I've got more time or sense of more time, then I don't have to rush anything. I've got tomorrow, which is great. The other thing I realized was this afternoon, instead of getting on the water, it was a little bit of a loose end. And so I came back to the place where I'm staying here, and I pootled around doing a few different things, and I noticed my motivation sort of dropping for getting on with stuff. And I started to wonder, how much do external deadlines and promises to people matter in terms of my own productivity, in terms of my own motivation to make stuff happen? And I suspect that at least part of me is motivated by that, as opposed to some intrinsic thing to create just because it's fun to do. And perhaps this is part of the unwinding process. And I've just kind of been wondering that question. You know, we all have goals and promises we need to keep and commitments we need to live up to or step up to. But when they're not there, what happens to motivation? And it's not a bad spot, but it's just interesting how I'm not locking on to the next thing. So just a musing for you, and I will give you another update tomorrow. When the conditions look better, I'm definitely getting on the water tomorrow, no question. And until then, go well. See you soon.